Hey, this is Danny Wuerffel, and I am really excited to be visiting with Dillan Gibbons, finalist for the 2022 Wuerffel Trophy this year. Congratulations, Dillan. You know, you've had success on the field, in the classroom, in the community. You've been a part of two great programs with Notre Dame and Florida State, but just tell us a little bit about what it's been like for you to kind of be shaped by Notre Dame and Florida State and the support they've given you in all your work.
Well, first, let me tell you, I'm very grateful to be here today. I'm standing on the backs of a bunch of giants in my family and individuals that have helped me throughout this whole process and playing college football in the in the classroom and in life and in society. So first, I got to say thank you. But at the end of the day, you know, it's been incredible to see how these two different fan bases with Notre Dame and Florida State have both accepted me in radically different ways. You know, I was born and raised in St. Petersburg, Florida. Florida guy. I was born and raised Irish Catholic, so Notre Dame made the most sense. I actually committed there back when I was 15 years old. I was Irish through and through. I graduated in 2021 and decided to, make a little change in my life. Decided to come down here to Florida State, back down to the state of Florida, and it was absolutely incredible to see how this fan base has accepted me. Not only involving me in the culture of Florida State, but allowing me to make some changes and do as much good as I possibly could while I'm wearing the garden and gold.
Well, not many people can say they were recruited when they were 15 and committed. That's a fantastic part of your story. Well, you have really, as we said, what you've done in the classroom and on the field is special. But the reason the Wuerffel Trophy exists is to honor the work that people do in community service. And you have really stumbled on something here that is really unique, really timely, and impacting a lot of people and growing probably each day more than we can keep up with. So why don't you tell us about how this idea around the opportunities with NIL led to what you're doing now and the great stuff?
Yes, sir. Well, let me take you back a little bit, back to 2017. Goes back a little bit farther. I mean, similar to you, I grew up with a great household. My mom and my dad made a great impression on me when I was a little kid. I still remember to this day going into the first day of, I believe it was second grade. When I got home from school, we were asked to get some school supplies. Our teachers, they needed colored pencils, they needed, crayons, whatever it may have been. And we went to the store, and I asked my dad if I could get a medical kit for the class. And that was my way of making sure everyone was okay. Not like I was going to be playing doctor or anything like that. But if anybody got injured, if anybody got a nick or a scratch playing basketball at recess, I wanted to make sure everyone was okay and everyone was taken care of. And that has kind of leached into every element of my life. Whether that be in the classroom, through academics, or through my nonprofit, Big Man Big Heart. That medical kit, the Big Man Big Heart is the metaphorical medical kit for college football. It's what I've envisioned over my past 5 years and what I put into the world about 2 years ago. Back in 2017 is when I met an individual named Timothy Donovan. I know a lot of people have got to know his story. I've even met him. If you've gone to a Florida State game or been to any of our games we've traveled to this season or the past two seasons. He's a little guy. His name is Timothy Donovan. At the end of the day, he has a disease called Charcot-Marie tooth and vascular. It's kept him in a wheelchair for his whole life. He's gone through, I believe, 75 surgeries at this point and continues to struggle with his treatment. I met him after my first game at Notre Dame. And I know you probably remember your first game at the University of Florida. And that experience, you go into your first camp, you're trying to do your best, and maybe your best wasn't enough. And the mental space that you're in isn't necessarily the best. I was on scout team at that point, working hard to try to prepare our defense every week. And I was just looking forward to seeing my family. We went straight through camp without being able to see anybody. So after our first game, I came out and I was approached by probably about 30 or 40 kids. They all wanted something. They wanted the hat off my head, the gloves that were all in my pockets. They were trying to take my food they were giving us after the game. Everyone was kind of pulling and tugging at my shorts. And I was scanning the crowd, and I remember what my dad, told me the way I looked at him when I was a little kid. He told me I had a sparkle in my eye, I had a little glimmer in my eye, and that I was special. So I was looking around for that kid, and that's when I met Timothy Donovan and his parents, Paul and Tim. I went down to the back of the crowd, knelt down by Timothy, and ended up having a 45-minute conversation. It felt like maybe 2 minutes went by, 5 minutes went by, and it was absolutely incredible. I mean, it's so tough because we walk by so many people on a day-to-day basis, so many individuals, so many people that have incredible stories. people in the darkest corners of the earth that, we don't always shine light on. But in that moment, I met one of my best friends, and he has an absolutely incredible story. He's done some amazing things, despite his condition, despite the rare disease that he has. And from that one connection, has given me a lifetime of inspiration, a lifetime of tales. And, my experience at Notre Dame wasn't necessarily the most cut and dry. I went through a few different surgeries. I couldn't walk for approximately a year and a half. And overall, had some cold winters up there in South Bend. But Timothy was always there. Timothy was always going through his bouts with pneumonia, in and out of the hospital, but he still made it to the games. He still made it to see his friend Dillan. Back then, the rules and regulations were such that I wasn't able to, start a GoFundMe for him to help get him to the games, or even, try to elevate the quality of his life in any way, shape, or form. I wasn't allowed to use my name or put my stamp on anything. So when I did make that transition from Notre Dame to Florida State, I wanted to start a GoFundMe. The recent rulings came out back then that we were allowed to use our name, image, likeness, especially in the state of Florida, one of the first states to put that into action. So I immediately put together a GoFundMe, and I kind of started the storytelling process around Timothy's life and the Donovan family, the struggles they've gone through, and the trials and tribulations they fought through. Once that was all put together, I released it out to the world. The first day we were allowed to use our name, image, likeness, and it took off like wildfire. Nothing that I ever expected. The first goal was to just get them to the game. Pay for their gas, their travel, maybe hotel expenses, maybe food. Just raise a couple $1,000s. That took off. It was completely insane. I was driving at the time when I got the news that I raised $30,000 in under 24 hours, and I almost crashed my car. I was completely taken away. Well, fast forward a few months, we ended up raising around $90,000 for the Donovan family. We're able to get a number of wonderful things put in place for Timothy's life, including a wonderful experience at the Notre Dame game, our first game in the season back then, and able to get them a new van to transport Timothy to different games. And he's been to every game this season and that season. And we were able to get him a lift to bring him in and out of bed. So his mother, Paula, didn't have to transport him around the house. And we were able to widen every single doorway in his house. So there's been a number of wonderful things we've been able to do for the Donovan family. But that one event, that first 24 hours of launching that GoFundMe, it called me to do more. It allowed me to see an opportunity. And my education at Notre Dame, it was a faith-based education. So in the classroom, I studied management consulting in the business school. We were always, told to keep our eyes open for opportunities, not only in business, but in life, in society, and in charitable endeavors. It was always part of the education and always part of the coursework that we were taking part in. So when I saw that kind of traction happen, I saw the hearts of the college football fans. I saw a fan base that didn't know me from Adam, wrap their arms around me and support one of my dear friends, Timothy Donovan. It called me to do more. And that's where Big Man, Big Heart came from. And that's a kind of our origin story. And from there, we've been able to allocate and direct over $500,000 to different individuals throughout college football. It's been a crazy process, definitely not for the faint of heart. I've been recruiting collegiate ambassadors all over the state of Florida. And I've had my eyes open and my feelers out in every community across all of college football. So what we've done is, go out there and we try to seek stories and individuals associated with college football, whether that be directly through athletes or pairing athletes with these stories, just trying to bring them into the limelight. Like I said a minute ago, we're constantly walking through life. And, as a college football player, it's tough to open your eyes. It's tough to have that kind of introspection. It's tough to step outside of your own daily struggles and your own daily ambitions. But I want to be there for every college athlete as kind of like their charitable tool belt, as somebody that will take the brunt of the load and to be able to help them and inspire others. Raising money is one thing, and I know you know a thing or two about that, but telling people stories, inspiring the masses, bringing together a group of people around somebody that's going through a struggle and acknowledging that struggle, that's the most important part. I've heard that from everybody we've helped out so far. We put together, I believe it's 12 GoFundMes at this point, helped out a whole host of folks. And that's been the most impactful part. The hundreds of thousands that I believe last year, just in social media, it was 25 million interactions with different stories and through the GoFundMes. The hundreds of thousands of donors that we've had so far through our different initiatives. It's been been a crazy experience. And again, none of this would have been possible about that whole equation from my upbringing, from my time at Notre Dame, and picking the right school here at Florida State.
Man, there's so much in there, Dillan, just so powerful, just thinking about you, noticing that one person, like every life has a story, every life matters, and everyone's been through struggle, and making yourself available is inspiring to me. I love, a lot of people, when they think about helping, they think very macro, like, peace for the world, but you're really thinking, peace for Dillan, joy for Dillan, and you're encouraging people to really personify their care and love for somebody, and then using your platform to create a charitable tool belt. I love that. So much of what you're saying is part of what we're trying to do through the Wuerffel Foundation, beyond even just the Wuerffel Trophy, and so just really, really excited for you. So what's next for Dillan? What does the next few years hold for you?
Yes, sir. So alongside Big Man, Big Heart, I realized this very early on. My brother, Riley Gibbons, he played football at Stanford and at USF. He ended up blowing out his knee about 3 times and had a number of surgeries to put himself back together. He completely flipped his life around. He ended up going to Notre Dame Law School while I was up there playing football, and we had a great experience together. I realized, for lack of a better term, how fickle football can be, how temporary, the current state is, and how I'm one play away from blowing out my knee, from never being able to play ball again. And just kind of, being able to compartmentalize my life was the most important thing for me. So I went ahead, I indulged as much as I possibly could in the academics up at Notre Dame. I'm currently getting my MBA at Florida State. I've been grateful for the opportunities I've had. I've done 3 or 4 different internships, 2 in private equity and investment banking, and 1 I did over last summer. I was with Amazon. I ended up putting together a pilot program for an HBCU internship program, and I pitched that to the CTO, Jonathan Finch, and I ran the program over last summer, and I ended up having a great time. So I have some opportunities in the business world. But for me, I'm staying focused. I'm doing a great job and staying healthy and staying on top of my treatment and everything else that goes along with hopefully playing in the NFL. And I'm headed north, and I hope to make it to the NFL after this season.
Man, well, so many opportunities. We wish you well for the rest of your football career, which could be, 1 workout away, or 10 or 15 year career. And certainly all the things you've mentioned are great, but we're really, really proud to know that wherever you go, you're going to do it in a way that makes a difference in the world, inspiring others, which is what we're about. So congratulations, Dillan. We're really excited for you, and looking forward to seeing all the great things in your life. And good luck in this next week. We'll be voting and having a winner of the Wuerffel Trophy, but whether you win it or not, you're obviously a winner for all of us. And anything we can ever do to support you, you let us know. So God bless you, and congratulations.
Yes, sir. And let me know if you ever need anything. Thank you.